May I read?
Sure.
All right, shall we?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call to order the Lincoln City Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee meeting. Today is April 30th. The time is now 5:30 p.m. May we have a roll call, please?
Dick Anderson,
Yes.
Larry Armstrong,
Yes.
Judy Casper,
Here.
Deanna Hinton,
Here.
Riley Hoagland,
Here.
Kevin Hohenbaum,
Here.
Doug Holbrook,
Here.
Rick Mark,
Here.
Chester Norikis,
Here.
Nancy Oxenholt,
Here.
Dee Ritchie,
Here.
Susan Wolke,
Here.
Don Williams.
Here.
Very good. So we're just continuation from our last meeting, Mr. Chandler?
Thank you all for coming back. We appreciate it. The first thing we wanted to do today is to just answer a couple of the questions that came from the last meeting as it pertains to the urban renewal budget. And then if there are additions, deletions, or modifications, then now would be the time to make those motions. As we stated before, we would vote on each of the proposed amendments for adoption, for approval, and then once those are done, we would approve, also then take a motion to approve the budget as amended. So I'm going to turn the time over to Debbie to go ahead and answer these questions.
Okay, the couple questions I had on my list, one was about the GIS allocation, and I think I got into that a little bit before. How we do this is I speak to the GIS coordinator and ask, who can you estimate about how much of your time goes to each of the different departments, and so that's retro looking, so it's looking like the most recent year. And this last year there was a lot of activity in property redevelopment in urban renewal, which created requests for maps and stuff, and so that's why that increased. We would anticipate that this year there hasn't been much spent, so the next budget year that number will drop back down again. I know that it's not a perfect allocation method, but
That's what we have.
it's what we got. And I had one other question, if there's not any question on the GIS one, and that's with the, there's a discrepancy for the property rehab loans between the budget message and the actual budget itself, which is page 9, the urban renewal, and what is in the budget itself on page 9 is what is being proposed. I presume there was a last-minute adjustment made in this budget which didn't get picked up in the budget message. And if we wanted to change that, we would have to pull from somewhere else because there is no contingency in that budget. So it needs to be that 423 unless you want to change it.
It's just going to be used if in the event, right?
Yes. Yeah, and we typically don't use all anywhere near what we've got budgeted, at least in the past. But that's not to say we won't this year. Who knows?
Right.
Yep, go ahead.
There were a couple of other questions about the consistency between the budget message and the budget itself. And the budget in this case is correct. The budget message did have a couple of errors. You mentioned $50,000 was proposed for contracted services and listed in the account line item number 830. The budget message should have referenced 35,000 rather than 50,000, and also listed the associated account number as 830 rather than 833. So we did cross, that was my error there on the budget message. And then the other discrepancy between the budget and the budget message was about the color design work. So for the same contracted services, the budget message should have referenced 15,000 rather than 10,000.
So the budget's correct.
The budget is correct.
Woo-hoo. Okay.
Any other committee members have questions from the last meeting?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the budget as submitted.
A motion and a second. Maybe
Can you tell me who seconded that?
that was Mr. Ritchie.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I guess I need to refrain from voting. I need to state that I met with a statutory conflict of interest. I must declare an actual conflict of interest. The funding proposed in budget line item 6270150 entitled Economic Development Grant Program, among many other things, includes funds which could be used to fulfill the grant to the Bay Area Merchants Association for their downtown manager. Funding of this grant pays my salary. This is a known financial outcome of decisions made in the urban renewal budget. So I must recuse myself from the voting and refrain from any further discussion. Thank you.
So there's been a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Maybe have a roll call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Hinton,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hohenbaum,
Yes.
Holbrook,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Norikis,
Yes.
Oxenholt, Ritchie,
Yes.
and Susan Wolke is abstaining, and Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Is there any further,
Not
Anything
until
further?
6.
all
No,
right.
sir.
Well, may we adjourn this meeting?